Welcome back. So one of the things I always talk about in any computer course is the importance of cybersecurity ethics, state and federal computer use laws, cybersecurity laws, and maybe laws related to cyber harassment. So what I want to do is I want to take a quick look at how do I get that type of information? Where can I find the federal US laws related to computer use and cybersecurity? And where can I find those for each state? So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Let's go ahead and share my screen. And this should pull us into a website which has all of the information for the United States Code. So you can see here that on the top of the screen is really the definition here. The United States Code is a consolidation, right, of all of the laws of the United States. It's broken down into several titles. So you can see all the way down the screen as I scroll down from 1 to 54. And there's different sections. You see section for the Congress, the president. And as I slide down here, there's domestic security, which is Title 6. Title 10 is armed forces information. And eventually what we want to get into is Title 18, because we're looking at crimes. What are the federal laws for computer use? So each one of these titles I could expand. So I've expanded Title 18, and you'll see that there's parts broken into sections. And eventually we're going to get into crimes, because that's what we wanted to look at. What are the laws? And I can open that up, and again, and that expands some more. You can also search. So now if we search the word cybersecurity, this is going to kind of blow up, because of course there's a lot of instances of cybersecurity in the US code, and it goes from Title 2, there's some information. Title 5, there's some departmental regulations. Within Title 6, there's a bunch of issues. And this will go on. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom real quick, and you'll see there's several pages. So 387 entries right now. And if I go to the last page, it really includes all of the titles of the US code. So here's some that relate to 42. So I'm just going to jump right back to the main page. So we could search and try to find as many things as we can as cybersecurity, but we're interested in Title 18 in cybercrime law. So knowing what that section already is, we're going to jump to Title 18, Section 1030, and it'll open up in a new window. I'll go ahead and expand that. And we can see that here are the different statutes. For example, fraud and related activity in connection with computers. Starts out with this A little bit bigger. I like this. This is the whoever's. There's 7 of these, and it really gives you a good summary of the federal law that has to relate with computer use. So the first one of these whoever's is having knowingly access to a computer without authorization, and it goes down to describe it. The second one, intentionally accesses a computer without authorization, right again, and you can read through it. Third one, intentionally without authorization to access any non-public computer of a department or agency of the United States. And you can read of those. And you can kind of see how important it is to have the proper authorization to access any computer system in the United States. Fourth one, knowingly and with intent to defraud, accesses a protected computer without authorization or exceeds the authorization. Fifth one, knowingly causes the transmission of a program. That was not great. Knowingly causes the transmission of a program, information, code, or command as a result of such conduct. Intentionally causes damage, again, without authorization. This continues on for all 7. Number 6, knowingly and without intent to defraud, tactics and any password or similar information which a computer may be accessed without authorization. And finally, the 7th, whoever, go ahead and highlight again, with intent to extort from any person, any money or anything else of value, transmits in interstate or foreign commerce, any communication. So after that, it goes into what are the different punishments. Scroll back out, and really the rest of the code you can look through, and it's not particularly long, and I'll do a quick scroll there, and then there's a lot of references. So if I close that out, that was my zoom in when I put in Title 18, 1030. So that's a general place to find information that relates to the laws of the United States. And again, that website is uscode.house.gov, and you can browse through the code. So what about each state? So each state does have different cyber laws, different cyber regulations. So I have a tab open again to the National Conference of State Legislatures. So that website is ncsl.org. I'll zoom in a little bit here. And if I go into the NCSL website, I'll show you how to navigate to some of the things that are of interest here. Of course, I could search, and if I search the word cybersecurity, there's going to be a lot of results. It's kind of hard to wade through. So first, we'll start from the top. I'll show you how to get to it. And then once we know what we're looking for, it's pretty fast. So if we start with resources, again, go to ncsl.org, select resources. And then we'll have a few sections here. And again, we're looking at policy, legislation. So select research and policy. First one on the left. And again, you can review these pages. You see 1,750 results today. So again, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'm going to go to the right and I can see the different sections. And the one I want is technology and communication. So I'll select technology and communication. And I will look at a few of these. Now you see we're down to 64. So not too many results that we can't scan through. But once we've done this, we don't need to do this all the time because we know what we're looking for and we can go right to the search bar. But we want to go through maybe the first few pages. I think there's about 11 pages of this, the way it's broken down into 64 results to see what kinds of things we can find. So as we slide down, we can see there's some children's online safety. Nice article here, cyber attacks in the energy system. So yeah, 11 pages. So we'll go for a few of these to get a general idea. There's a lot of legislation coming out on AI. So we have legislating AI technology. Some legislation on broadbands, more on artificial intelligence. Page 3, social media and children. More AI legislation. Cryptocurrency legislation, and this is pretty current because this does say the current year. A lot of the legislation is a year prior. So we do have some cryptocurrency legislation information here for 2023. And again, I'm doing this right now in November 2023. More broadband, digital equity, some information on 5G. We'll do a couple of more because this is what it takes to kind of get to where I wanted to show you. There's some security breach legislation that would be interesting to read through. This one's one of the two most important ones that I would search for in the search bar. So the title is Cybersecurity Legislation, and it's Cybersecurity Legislation from 2022. So if I highlighted that, I could go back to the main page, go ahead and search cybersecurity legislation 2022, and I would find that right away. I've already went in and the 2023 is not available yet. So this is the most current one. So if I click into it, you'll see what I see is each of the, or at least see what is presented by state. I can filter by the state. So for my example, I'm going to use Virginia. And you could pick all the states, and it'll give you a rundown of the cybersecurity legislation from that year that was attempted. So for example, this one was related to the budget bill, provides all appropriations for the budget submitted by the governor. And it talks about the Commonwealth Cyber Initiative. That was enacted, so it passed. You can see this other one that was put in about a tax credit didn't actually pass, and it says failed. So this is just an update on legislation that has to do with cybersecurity and computer use in the state of Virginia, and whether or not it was passed or not. And we could do that for each of the years. So one of the pages I wanted to get to, the second one, let me apologize for making you completely dizzy here. Okay, so page 6 on this current one was the Well, there's also security breach legislation. And we just looked at the cybersecurity legislation. Now on page 7, we have the older one for cybersecurity legislation, but we have computer crime statutes. This is an overall status of what are all the computer crime laws or computer use laws that are in effect accumulative for each of the 50 states. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And again, it's computer crime statutes. And now if I look at my the URL, it's ncsl.org under technology and communication, and it's just computer crime statutes. So I can get to this directly instead of looking for it. At the top of the computer crime statutes, there's a pull down bar. You can see I can look at what are the laws related to hacking, unauthorized access to malware, denial of service, ransomware, and it's all of the different categories. I'm going to pick hacking, unauthorized access, and malware, which is the first one. And then, similar to we saw to the update on the computer use legislation, we have a breakdown by state. So again, if I switch down to Virginia, it shows the portion of the state legislation that relates to that. So I'm looking at Article 7.1 in Virginia, and it talks about computer crimes. So what are the laws related to computer crimes in the state of Virginia in the United States? So the legislation starts off with definitions, which is really handy. What exactly do they mean by all of these words? I'll slide through real quick. And then gets into some specifics. So here's all the specifics for computer fraud and the penalty that's related. What are the laws related to transmission of unsolicited email? Great stuff. We definitely get too much of that. Computer trespassing and the penalties. And these are detailed sections to go through. Computer invasion of privacy and the penalties. Using a computer to gather identifying information. What I can and I cannot do, and this relates to penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, and passive and active reconnaissance too, because you're trying to gather some information. Theft of computer services, personal trespass, harassment. So the state laws do, and same with the federal laws, we'll get into computer harassment as well. Using computers to commit a scheme, embezzlement, and you can keep coming down and some things that were repealed. And I'm going to go all the way to the end because there was another interesting one related straight to encryption and a criminal activity. So again, this was the National Conference of State Legislatures. That'll give you a quick overview for each of the states. If you go to uscode.house.gov, that's a outline of all of the laws of the United States. And for criminal cyber computer use activity, that was Title 18, Section 1030. So hopefully that's a quick rundown that'll help you get started. It's important anytime you're getting into vulnerability assessments, penetration testing, security audits, that you have written permission from the organization or the people that actually have the authority to grant you that permission, because the federal laws and the state laws are very detailed on accessing computers and taking action on any computers without authorization. Thank you. If you get a chance, go ahead and subscribe, and you'll get a notice of the next video that comes out. And also, I'm going to put a link right there to cybersecurity certifications and which ones you might want to consider if you're looking into getting into cybersecurity as a profession. Thank you.